So, good evening, everyone. So, today is the Friday, the 30th of January. It's almost to the end of the January that we arrived. I believe that many of us are still in a vibe of a new year, but actually, we have passed a month now. So, as usual, we are all here this evening to do this chanting, to express our veneration, appreciation, and homage to the Buddha, and also reflecting on his teachings, to reflect upon our own life, to see things as they truly are. So weather still continue to rain, and you may have noticed that we have a small stream in front of the cottage now. A small burn running through. So here we have Gavin and Yvonne and Paul in person attending tonight's evening chanting and the practice. And these practices is the practice to understand ourselves. And we know that according to a Buddhist philosophy, we are made of two things, that's mind and body. So body is known as a rupa, or a corporality, or a material things, which is again made out of four major elements, starting from earth, water, fire, wind. When these things comes together, it forms the shape and creates the color, and it binds together to be a one entity, like an atom. Now this body itself won't move and won't understand, won't feel unless there is the mind. And this mind again is something that we cannot see, we cannot recognize, we cannot identify, but it's there, playing as a boss. Flickering, influencing, encouraging. And this is again one of the very fundamental part of our life that causes either to be happy or unhappy, either to be strong or not strong. Doesn't matter how big your body have. Sometimes if your mind is down, then you are like a little baby. You don't have any energy to do at all. So that's the mind. So that's why our life actually is the combination of this mind and a body. And the practice of Buddhism and Buddhist meditation is to understand that this mind and a body. Simple as that. So when we talk about the mind, it has four functions. A combination of four things, like the earth, water, fire, and wind made the corporality or the material entity. Similarly, our mind also made of four things. So number one is called a feeling, the Vedana, sensations, which could be a pleasant sensation or unpleasant sensation or just a sensation. And sometimes those sensations may arise due to our own desire, our own wish to get things done, or our wish to not to have them, or resentment and so on. And the possibility that we may have these feelings of a liking and disliking, and different emotions may arise there. So different emotions again is just a creation. So that's the Vedana, the second one. That's why I normally used to say that this Vedana is in fact is a neutral, doesn't have anything, but the very moment when we add something based on what our experiences and our understanding, then that becomes the emotion. So emotion itself, in fact, according to the Buddhist practice, and again, if you are practicing properly and understood the concept of the Vedana or the feeling, then you realize emotion is actually the reaction to the sensation that we feel. Sensation of what we feel, and we put our perceptions, our theory, our understanding, our knowledge, our attachment, our emotions on it, then that converts it into emotion. Otherwise, it won't be emotion. It's just a feeling that you have known or that you have felt. Just like a mother is playing, or mother is looking after two children. One is her own and the second one is her friend's. Suppose her friend's child fell down. The hurt that she will feel will be far less than her own feel. She will be running towards the child and looking after and finding medicine or other ways to deal with that. So it's like her own pain and her own fall, like that. So that is the feeling, that is the emotion that we put it on. So that's the Vedana. And this Vedana is something, or the feeling is something that's always in the present moment. We feel it all the time. And based on that feeling, we react. So the practice of a meditation is to recognize those feelings to start off with. And if you can understand this feeling properly, then there won't be a troubles at all. And this feeling arises due to the connection with other things. Without the connection with other things, there won't be a feeling. So I sees an object. That doesn't produce a feeling yet. It has just started the rubbing two things. But the very moment when we put our consciousness on it, the realization or awareness on that, that I am seeing this object, straight away there is a feeling. Same with the hearing. We hear many things, but hardly we notice one thing. The moment when we put our consciousness onto that hearing, the sound that comes to contact with our earbuds, and we recognize that, then that means we have put our a consciousness in it. And that's how that hearing becomes alive. Same with the smell. There are so many smells we can smell here. Even when you're coming into the room, you can smell those different odors. And among those, you will be able to recognize only one that really hits you and you really put your consciousness in it. So the moment when you put your awareness in it, that becomes alive. So our life is basically based on how do we feel in everyday life. That's why when we had the COVID-19, we can't feel the test, so that was a troublesome. We want to test whether have I got the COVID or not. And they're talking about, oh, I can't feel it, maybe I have got the COVID. Even nowadays they will still feel that. The numbness in our tongue, we suspect that this must be a COVID. So like that. And even nowadays, if we can't feel, it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on me? Right? And further on, if something happens against your wish, or something happens the wish that you didn't want it to be, then there is a numbness arises in your heart, in your feelings, in your emotions. So that's why it is called the condition created. And this is the one that we always live with, feeling. And that's another reason why people connect, because you have a feeling, that connection with you, with another guy or another person, that all feels so cozy, so warm, feels so comfortable. And that's probably another reason why people break up, because after a while I do not feel that I am connected, or I need something else. And that's how they break up too, because there is no feelings anymore, there is no emotions anymore. Without that emotions, we will not have any relationship. And those are only possible because of the feeling arises and you put something in it, and that's how our life becomes colorful, entertaining, exciting. Excitement is there, like that. So this is the second part of the mind, but this is one of the very important part that is playing in our life, is the Vedana, the feeling. So that's why in the practice of insight meditation, particularly Vipassana meditation, we work with this Vedana all the time. Whatever arises, whether that is a pleasant sensation or unpleasant sensation or a neutral sensation, we just try to observe it with a clear understanding that this is conditioned, created, then I am not going to put anything in it. And that anything, do you know what is that? That's a perception. Right? That's the perception. Where the perceptions are coming from. The perceptions is in our consciousness that we have saved from the past. Whether it could be because the upbringing, the condition that we were, the education that we had, an experience that we have collected along the way. And we shape our perceptions on things. So as soon as we come to contact with things, feeling arises, and then we put our perception to it, and identifying this or that, and put it into concept, put it into contexts, then that becomes life. So the practice of a meditation, what we are doing is we are not adding any perceptions to any feelings, any sensations, any experiences. Then we are living in the moment. We are living in the moment. Mentally, I'm talking about the mentally, in the moment. To the moment when we do not multiply or manipulate or exaggerate on that, with bringing those perceptions, which is a memory, another form is a memory, then we are not creating further actions. It's just there, it is. This is what I am experiencing. Oh, this is. And that's how we stop generating new karmas, stop generating new sankharas. Okay? That's why another way of looking at the Buddhism is like changing our perceptions every single day. And in fact, whether we study the Dhamma or not, whether we practice the Dhamma or not, day by day, every day, we are changing our perception to certain things. That's why there is also saying that life is a process of a learning. and we learn everything. We learn every day new things. So the moment when we say that we are learning new things every day, that means we are changing our perceptions to certain things. The practice of a meditation is to understand this until that there is nothing that is replacing to something. So completely our perceptions being perfected. Our consciousness being fully purified. So that's the fourth one, the consciousness, the character of the mind. The consciousness called the vijnana. And this vijnana, the consciousness, is the one that knows, the one that pulls together other factors, and that's the mind. These are the four factors the mind has, and this is the one that normally causes the trouble. So if we have understood that, then there won't be any trouble. So within these four factors, the mind, so the Vedana, the feeling, the perception, the second one, or called Sankhara. Sorry, Sanya. Perception is Sanya. Sankhara is the fourth one, a formation or a creation. And then the last one is the Vijnana, the consciousness. So we don't have more than that. That's all we have. But the funny thing is, this mind works so fast, so fast, and so difficult to catch. So there is one particular, the gatha or the stanza comes in the Dhammapada and say, Durangamang ekacharam asarirang kohasayam. Ye chittang sanyamesanti mokhanti mara bandhanam. So this travels so far alone. Our mind travels so far alone. And it lives in the cave. And the cave is this physical body. It lives in the cave, travels so far. It doesn't have any shape. It doesn't have the body. At the moment when someone or a practitioner understands that, one who can tame this mind, ye chittang sanyamesanti, the one who has trained this mind properly, then that person will attain, that person will be able to abandon all the kilesas, the defilements, and that's the moksha, the enlightenment. So that's why, the practice of the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, is not about to understand the outside world, what's going on. It's not about how world will be, how things will be, but it's about understanding our own self, this mind body, which is quite hard enough already. We think we know, but we don't know at all, right? We think I know, we think that we are this body and I know this is much better than anybody else. But we don't know. That's why when something gets on the way, we go to see the doctors. If we know it clearly, then we don't have to go to see the doctor. We have a control over it. We can change it. We can ask this body not to get old, not to get sick. We will be able to control this without any troubles. But we don't. Same with our mind too. We have our desire that I want to keep my mind calm and peaceful all the time. Never gonna happen. We want it to be calm and collected, non-distracted. Not gonna happen. The moment when we open our eyes and see the weather, oh my goodness, so cold. Changed. Mind changed. And suddenly, despite of the rain, and then something good thing happened. Oh, mind is over the moon now. Changed. Uh, like it's having a KFC after 2 years. Today, Gavin offered KFC for my lunch, and then I recollect probably after 2 years. I was so good, yeah. I told Gavin that, oh, so good, the first bite. Whole day changed. And then Gavin said, Ajahn, are you supposed to be attached to? And then I just smiled. Yeah, so like that. And at the same time, came back and there is a problem. And then can't fix it. So little bit frustrated mind. And you wait, and then another thing, you wait and wait and wait, and that HMRC will pick up the phone and don't pick up, and then they that okay, then a couple of minutes send you a code, and then sends it after half an hour, go back to put this code on the on the page, and then it says doesn't accept. Then there is an anger, mind change.
You get the one with the faulty cooker as well.
Faulty cooker. So this mind changes so quickly. So that's why the practice of the Dhamma is to understand this mind-body, that how our mind is working and how our body is functioning. If we want to keep our body healthy, for a longer period of living, then we have to look after it. Starting from what do we eat, how much exercise do we do, and then how much rest we give, that defines. And among that, rest, very little. Exercise, almost none. Eat all junk food. And then expecting to have a good healthy body. Impossible. Right? And on top of that, what we do, we put so many other substances that harmful for the physical body. Okay? A similar way, our mind too. We do not guard our mind. And we take everything in and then just disturb, and without knowing before it takes controls over us, it's too late, and it takes a long time to scrap it. It's like after you have boiled a glass of milk on a pan, and it's stuck in your pan, and you didn't take it out. And then it's become very difficult to scrub it out. And something like that black stuff already covering our mind, and it needs a proper metal brush to rub it again and again. When each time when we rub, it creates pain and bruises, and then again, oh, it's so painful, I'm not going to do it, and leave it again, and after a while, and again, another layer of a black things covers the mind, like that. So when we meditate, that's what happens. When meditate, oh, it's so difficult, I can't meditate, or maybe this is not my cup of tea, and then finding that, oh, this is painful, and then do not do it again, and then it's too late. So that's why the Dhamma is something that we have to do it regularly, doing it regularly, consistently. And then that allows us to understand our own self. both body and mind. So that is the main purpose of the study the Dhamma, study the Buddhism, and this is what we are doing here in the morning and evening, at least coming to do the chanting and reflecting the Dhamma and practicing for some times. Kind of, although we can't use the metal brush to brush these dusts out from the heart, at least we're using this sponge, a sponge or a cotton brush, softly cleaning little by little, and hopefully at the end we can clean, eventually become a pure, clean heart and a mind and liberated. So may you all be liberated soon. If you want to go earlier than me, do so. Best of luck. So thank you very much. So with this, let's do the chanting from page number 32.